Boom, boom. This is Kenra. Everybody, welcome back to the channel. All right, we got a little bit of Bleach Immortal Soul up today. So we've got a new character up. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that, and then we'll go over a few other things. So let's go ahead and take a look. First, we got the new character up. Is Hozukimaru. So he's a pretty good character. We went over him a little while ago when he first came out, when they first did the announcement. So this is, of course, the event that's associated with him. You'll be able to get him just by doing the draws. He's a 2-star. You will get him at 2 stars once you get 30 shards, which is very easy to get. You get multiple shards each draw, so we'll go ahead and do that here shortly. But this is the event that they always have: 2 stars, 3 stars. Start to get into 4 stars is where you actually get his tomb and his emblem, but then you got to go full 5 stars. But if you do go the full 5 stars, you do get his weapon, so to awaken the weapon. So that makes it pretty good. All right, so let's go ahead and go to. He is in the actual summon. So if you're new to the game, it's something you should see it right here, a little bit of top. Hozukimaru. So here he is. And like I say, we did go over him, so he's not a bad character in terms of that. But let's go ahead and do the draw. So since this is a new hire, you can use your tokens, summon tokens. You can't use the summon tokens in a soul box event. The soul box event is purely the special soul box tokens, which you have to purchase with money. I've never been able to get any of those. I mean, I've been playing the game since its inception for near a year and a half, and I've always just had to use straight soul jade for the actual summons on the soul box, because I've never purchased any of the actual soul box tokens. So let's go ahead and do this. So as always, it's a 3-day event. So let's go ahead and do this. So each time you summon 10 times, you will of course get the shards. You'll get 5 shards each time. So basically you'll have to do 6 summons, and that will get you the character at. But again, that's only going to get you the 2, him at base, which is just 2 shards, so 2 stars. So if that makes him completely useless in terms if you're going to actually use him. And as you can see, I have not had to use Soul Jade yet because I do have a lot of the tokens. So the second pool, and we won't get another 5 here. I'm getting some Ichigos. Interesting. Do another summon here. Another 5 shards. So I'm hoping to get some Awakened Essence in this one right here, because I'm running low on Awakened Essence. Probably going to have to go for Awakened Essence on my next event instead of going for Omni Shards. I'll probably have to go for the Essence because I need to bring up a few characters. As you know, I brought up Anniversary Ichigo, and I'm in the process right now of bringing up Christmas Orihime. So I've got some. So you also do, you can come in here and you can get some shards from within here as well. Unfortunately, and this will be another chance to get 2. So you're going to need to make, you need to make at least 6 pools on this. So if you look at the bag, you see shards we've actually got for him. So you can see I need 6 more. So I'm going to have to do another pool. I got Tozen again. Two more Ichigo shards as well. So you can see right now I'm at 29. So you can go into here, get this, and this will bring you up to 31 shards now. So that's where we're at. So actually we could do it in 5 pools if you use the actual reward chests to get that. So now I have him at 2 stars. So if you go into your bag, you'll see that you can combine him. He's UR, and he's listed as a tank, but he really does a lot of damage too. I'm really exceedingly impressed with. I mean, on paper, I'm not exactly sure how well it's going to, of course, translate into actually, making him how well he actually performs in use. But on paper, it sounds like an extremely good skill set. And then you take this and you can get some 100k. So now the next thing you have to decide is if this is a character that's going to be able to enter into the team. What's his what's his status and everything. So let's go take a look at the character again. As you can see, I'm bringing up Christmas area Hime, and I brought up Anniversary Hime. I'm going to give you an update here shortly. This is going to be a pretty long video, by the way, so probably going to be close to 30 minutes maybe, because I want to go over how well Anniversary Ichigo turned out to be. So, as you can see here, we've got a lot of bonds coming up here. So he's got a bond with Ikaku. Oh, he's got bonds with quite a few people, actually. Interesting. I'm surprised at the number of bonds. Kabamaru's also got a bond with it's interesting. So that's and his weapon is of course that. So let's take a look at what he's got in terms of skill set. So he's got the 3-section staff. So he's a single target. This is what's interesting. So he deals damage to a single enemy and unleashes 2 spear thrusts. Deals damage equal to 3% to 5% of Hozukimaru's max hit points with 30% chance of stun target. See, now that right there that's a damage skill right there. But everybody has a damage skill on their first skill, most likely, even characters, except for some of the characters that do healing, might have a heal that comes out on their first skill. But this is a straight damage, but it's also damage that can be increased based on his hit points. So if you put a hit point based Warsaw on him, you can get more damage out of this. So let me go into Tornado Rift Strike. So okay, here we go again. Deals damage to the enemy front row and spends 10% of Hozukimaru's max hit point to deal additional damage equal to 12% of the target's max hit point. Okay, see that's a damage skill. Okay. See, but this guy's a tank. That's what they're listing him as. He's got the shield emblem, which means you would think he would have the red sword emblem indicating a damage character, but he doesn't. He has an actual tank emblem, which means he's going to have excellent survivability. But with as much damage as he's doing, combined with that survivability, is going to make him what looks to be, at least on paper, it seems almost overpowered. Okay, activates when hit points is less than 10% by reducing his hit points to 1. Okay, so here we go. So this effects to activate. This has the ability of 35% increased block pierce chance. So that right there is where he's getting his, shield emblem, because he's a tank. And after the weapons awaken, the effects of this skill are increased, and his Hozukimaru gains a shield based on his max hit points. So there again, a shield against its attack survivability. And then we've got his Dragon Tattoo, which is the passive. So Hozukimaru has increased damage reduction rate. So again, tank damage reduction rate, which means he's going to reduce the damage he takes when he's being hit. Okay, at the beginning of each round, gains 1 stack of Dragon Tattoo to a maximum of 3. Okay, now this is where it gets interesting. The first stack of Dragon Tattoo decreases incoming damage by 15%. Okay, and the second attack increases effect reduction by 40%, and the rage recovery rate by 20%. Okay, the third stack increases max hit point by 15%. Now that increases the max hit point. That's going to increase his damage, because of the fact that his damage seems to be based on his hit points. And reflect damage rate by 20% increases the damage dealt by Hozukimaru's rage attack by 20% and causes him to regenerate 20% of his missing HP. So as you can see, he's got a bunch of survivability. But the fact of the matter is, this is an extremely powerful attack for a rage skill coming from a tank, because of the fact that it deals additional damage, and it's 12% of the target's magic. So if you introduce a Warsaw on him that's hit point based, you're going to have conceivably really jack up his damage pretty good. So he's got a pretty good skill set. He's a three character attacker. You know, you've got the most damage single target attackers do are nukes, and they do the most damage to a single character. Okay, so when you're going in for squad bosses and you're going in for, you know, like Karakura Tail event going up against Aizen, you definitely want to have single target nukers because they do the most damage, and there's only one target, so that's what you want to go for. Then you've got the three attackers, which are people who hit the front row or the back row, like Lisa hits the back row. Hozukimaru hits the front row. Then you've got your column attackers, which hit two, which hit, you know, a column, you know, like Kenpachi, base Ichigo, do that as well. So he's and then, you know, then you got the characters who hit all characters, and they hit everybody. So AOE, those are the ones you want for, you know, your PvPs, and inside of the actual story mode. Those seem to be the most popular characters. Now, the basis based on the fact that he hits front row, so he's going to be doing a pretty good amount of damage. Front rows, you know, I would prefer, you know, what makes him slightly less useful is the fact that he hits the front row. It'd be nicer if he hit the back row to avoid the, you know, because everybody puts the tanks and their best in the front to protect their attackers in the back. So there is that to take into account, but still, it's a very good skill set. It's got, of course, the damage increase and the reduction rate does. So it's a pretty good setup. You know, in theory, on paper, it sounds like he's going to have a ton of survivability, and he's also going to do out a ton of damage. So I'm hoping that the dynamic doesn't change with some of the newer characters that they enter out. See, second thing that you have to go for in this is the fact that if you look into the archive for this character, I'll go ahead and activate him. Okay, if you look into the actual archive for this character, he's at the bottom, and he's in the incredible destructive force category. Okay, that's not where you would picture a tank. You would picture high damage dealers. So we're going to be coming out with 2 more of these. In theory, this, you know, this seems to me like he's going to be, you know, he's. I hope he's not. Yeah, I really don't hope they're changing that. They might have to change the dynamic of the game. We're getting to the point where we're roughly about halfway through the story, and it's already getting to the point where max characters with max level enhancements are having trouble passing through the elite stages in the story mode. The game's totally out of whack. Okay, so they might be trying to, with these next 3 characters, they might be coming at the fact where you're going to need to start focusing on something a little bit more terms. I'm thinking they're going to mount to match the character sets with the game. They're going to have characters who are able to survive more damage and put out more damage. And this sounds like exactly what this character is. Survive more damage and put out a lot more damage. It's just what it sounds like. I could be completely off base, but that's what it seems like to me. So we'll have to see. But he is a good character, and he's definitely something that you might want to consider to investing in. I'm actually seriously considering doing it because of the fact of what I think he's going to offer. I have 2 tanks in the front row. I have you know, Aircore. I have the version 2, of course, the UR version. He throws out the shield on the front row. So he can take a ton of damage even without his shield. He can just soak up the damage like you wouldn't believe because of the defense capabilities he has. And then on the other end, I have Sazi, and he revives. So you know, even if he dies, he comes back, and about half strength too, half health. So those 2 are always the last 2 to go down in any fight. If it's gotten to that point, there, you know, where, you know, the back's gone, the back goes down pretty quick. They're attackers. They really don't have a lot of protection. So anything that goes to the back row can do damage to them and take them out pretty quick. But those 2 are always the last to be survived. And in the center, I have Full Hollow Ichigo. Full Hollow Ichigo is not a tank. Okay? Uh, he has, you know, the rage steal, and he has survivability, but in the end, he's not a tank. It's getting to the point right now in some of the upper elites and story modes where he's not surviving enough. Okay, he's usually the first, and when the first row goes down, he's usually first. Okay, that's just the way it goes. He's the first front rower to die. So I need something. I'm thinking about going to a 3-tank setup in front. This guy fits that bill, which is really unfortunate because, as you can see, I like Fuho Ichigo. He's my favorite character in the game. But in the end, you know, Fuho Ichigo is, to be blunt, he's what you want to call. He's a Gen 1 character. You have Gen 1 characters, your Gen 2 characters. Gen 2 characters are the characters that were introduced a little bit later. They weren't there right at the base of the game. Even though Full Ichigo was not there at the base of the game, he was one of the first characters introduced after the base, simply because of the fact that he's a very popular character. He's cool looking. If you watch the anime, you know, he completely shredded Hirokura. He killed Hirokura, actually, even when Hirokura was in his you know, ultimate form. So he's a lot of people's favorite characters, and he was introduced fairly quick. I think it was a few months after. I think it was 2 to 3 months after the game came out. We started getting word that he was going to be coming out, and then sure enough, he did. And they've already had several Soulbox events for him. He is one of my, but you know, he does pretty good damage. I mean, he does a 0, which does damage to all people for his rage. But as you analyze that, remember, doing a rage that is AoE damages all characters, but it damages all those characters. It has to do it a little bit less. Okay, so this Hozukimaru, he's going to hit just 3 characters, so he's going to do more damage to those 3 characters than those 3 characters would receive from a 0, because that 0 from Full Ichigo is going to damage the 3 in the back as well. So you have to take the damage amount and then divide it by the number of characters that are being hit by it. So even if they're both doing 10,000, let's say they both do 10,000 damage, well, you know, that 10,000 for Full Ichigo is going to be spread out over 6 characters, the 3 in the front, the 3 in the back. But for Hozukimaru, that damage is going to be divided over the 3 characters in the front row. So those 3 characters in the front row are going to get hit by more. And the front row is what you want to take down first, because you got to get through the front row to get to the back row, which is where the attackers are at. So it has some advantages, and that's one of the reasons I'm debating, you know, to actually go for him and try a 3-tank front to see if that helps me out a little bit. Because yeah, Full Ichigo, you know, you can get 3 stars if 1 character dies, but you don't get 3 stars if 2 characters die. And that's the problem that I encountered in the previous chapter. I mean, I completed that chapter, but I got a couple levels where I was only 2 stars. And the reason was because I lost 2 people. And in both of those, the ones I lost were Full Ichigo on the front, and then I would lose one of the characters in the back. Okay? So that's what it was. It debated on which line they hit. Usually it's White Ichigo. But that's I love White Ichigo because he does so much damage. So I want to get to the point where I'm having all 3 of my tanks survive, and this guy has that capability because he is a tank. Okay, and I really need to keep Iroquois 2 and Sassy because to get my dragon, Azure Dragon buff, you know, which if you use one of each character, so removing one of those 2 is really not an option because. Fur 2 or version 2 Iroquois is my only tortoise. Sassy is my only bird. So you have to have 1 tortoise and 1 bird in the team to get the Azure Dragon buff. So I can't get rid of either of those 2, and I don't. They're both tanky and they both have no trouble with survival. Even though Iroquois Virtue is not listed as a tank, he's listed as support. His support is defense down. Defense buff, so that makes him a tank. And then Zazzy's just a shield tank, straight up. He just dies and comes back. Oh, he has excellent survivability. Whenever I lose, he's the last one to die. I'm really thinking that he's going to be actually the character that we're going to go for. And I'm not sure if I quite have enough, so we're going to go ahead and continue here with the draws, and we'll just see exactly what happens in terms of how well I get him. So let's take a look. So we need to get him to at least, we want to get him as high up as we can, of course. So we definitely want to get him to the 3-star, because we need to get into the 3-star, because then you can use Omni Shards to get him. You need to get the character to 4 stars to make him effective. Don't put a character in your main lineup at higher levels unless he's 4 stars, because you got to get his passive, because his passive is what makes him survive. So if you look at the character, if you look at him, you will see that he is 2-star right now, and we need to get him up to a promotion. So we need to get 40 more, well, 39. So we'll just say 40 shards to get him up. So if you take a look at getting 5 on each draw, 40. So we're going to need to do 8 more draws. Wrong button. So let's see how many actual. So we can only get another 1 draw out of that. So we're going to need 7 draws at I think it's 1440 is what it comes down. 2160 actually. So 7 to 7 is 14. So actually I'll have enough to do it, and the reason I'll have enough to do it. So that makes things things pretty good. There is of course the Soul Jade rebate, which will allow me to extend the pools. So let's go ahead and get as much out of him as we can, and we'll go ahead and see what we can get him up to. I decided to do this under the strength training so we can actually get some of the actual things. I don't think I'm going to be able to get him to 4 stars. I don't have enough Jade to do that. Definitely not to 5 stars. But you know, I could always use Omni Shards to bring him up. So let's go ahead and take a look at his draws here. Go back to the event summon. So I don't have to use a full 2160 on this, because I still do have 3 of those left. So I got 11 of the 40 that I need. $16 of the 40. So I'm halfway there at 21 of the 40. Get some Omni Shards too, which is nice. Summon to Yuri again. I get her a lot, actually. So summon again here. Got another Khan, another Ganju. Oh, Loopy. Almost ready to take Loopy up to 7-star. And I summon Ichigo again. And another Khan. And some Soul Jade too. Okay, so let's take this look out here. So now we've got 2 more of these. Is this him or so? Yeah, this is him. So actually right there is everything that we need. So this is everything we need to promote him up. Wrong one. So if we go down here to the bottom where he's at, we can now promote him up to 3-star. So then we're just going to need 78 more shards to get to him. A 3-star also unlocks his talent. An extreme challenge, the damage rate and reduction damage reduction rate of characters is increased by 1%. Not a bad one, but it's only useful in one particular phase. So we got the strength training here. We can claim that and get 300k in terms of gold. So as you can see, we only have enough for a few more pools from this basic. But if you go into the Soul Jade rebate, These Soul Jade rebates are good. That's why I prefer to really. That's one of the reasons I don't use my Soul Jade at all. I don't really do any pulls uh, except at the events. New character and soul box is the only time I do pulls. I don't do any pulls other than that. I don't waste my tokens. I just wait for the events because I gather Omni shards in between the events at the various. They're always there, except they've been pretty slow right now, primarily because of it's coming up on the holiday season. That actually is the holiday season or big holiday season over there in Asia. So there's a lot of traveling going on, and we're coming up on the Halloween season. That's the actual next event. It's going to be the Halloween event, which we should see coming out here within the next day or two. Or I'm sorry, sometime next week, actually. We should see the Halloween event come up. You can go to the Bleach Reddit, and you can get some information on that if you want to see a little bit. But it's basically just a grid from what it sounds like. Very similar to they have on other events. So it shouldn't be that much different. We'll, of course, cover it once it comes out. So now, as you can see, we've got him up to there's 4 stars, what I'm looking for, because that's the way I'm able to get his actual emblem and his tomb. So let's see here. We need to get, I think we need 80 is what the requirement is. 80 is the requirement for taking them up from 3-star to 4-star, if I remember correctly. On UR characters, I think it differs for those. So his promotion up to 4-star is 80, which I, of course, don't have enough to get. But I have 59 Soul Jade. So in fact, 59 from 80. So basically, if I can get 20, I can actually get him up. So I need 4 more pulls. So 2160, that's going to be really close. That's something we should definitely go ahead and do. That's going to get me really close to where I need to be in terms of getting him up to 4-star. And I got 2 more Omni Shards. That's very useful. I got Loopy. Okay, I can actually bring Loopy up to 7 stars now too. I got another Omni Shard as well. 2 Omni Shards. Well, that's useful. Okay, so I'm at the max, but I got the rewards. That should be 2 more shards. Claim. Okay, so that puts that right there. So I think, oh, not treasure trial. Event. Let's see how much we got in the Soul Jade rebate. Okay, so I can do another pull if I need to. Got another Omni Shard as well too. So I think I'm actually where I need to be in terms of getting him up to 4-star. I think I'm going to have just enough. I can do 1 more pull if I need to. Okay, so I've got 19. So I only need basically, so 60 would be 20, so I need 61, and I do have that in terms of Omni Shards right now. Yeah, so we got it. So let's go ahead and do another pool. To prevent me from having to use less of my Omni Shards, because Omni Shards can be used for everybody. You can use Omni Shards on anything. So it's best to just, only use them when you need them. So got that right there. So that right there, I can't actually pull anymore because I don't have any Soul Jade. But we do have the rebate here. I think I'm eligible for another rebate. 600. Still unable. I might be able to do 1 more pull over the next few days. Once you get to 2160, I should be able to come across that much Soul Jade. But let's go ahead and promote him. Well, I'm not going to promote him actually because I might be able to do another pool, which would save me 5 more Omni Shards that would be useless to put on him. You want to get him even at 80. I don't want to spend any extra because I do got to still got to bring Christmas or Harry Mammy up to 4 stars because she's still hanging on the bottom there. So I'm going to wait and do that, but I should be able to get him up to 4 stars now. I do have enough to do it, and once I do that, I'll be able to get his tomb and his emblem, which will save me having to purchase those in the gacha shop. Not going to be able to give him 5 stars, of course, that's too much, but that'll have to be an Omnishard. But for 4 stars, that's what you need to start him out. So I'll do another video here towards the end of this actual event here in a day or two, once I've got a chance to see whether or not I'll be able to do another draw, and then I'll be able to we'll go ahead and walk through leveling him up, and I'll show you everybody how I go about doing it, because I saved the mats to do that, and then we'll start putting him in the old team. We'll see how he affects. Now, the second thing I wanted to go over is the fact that Anniversary Ichigo has turned out to be an extremely valuable character. Very, 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 very pleased with the decision. I decided to go ahead and bring him up to 4 star and went through all the hassle that accompanies it. But it's paid off in spades. I actually got my most damage just this morning in terms of the squad boss. I managed to hit 110, 112 actually. So it's working out. I mean, so this is definitely a good if you're just looking for. So I use basically 4. So my front line is I'm using all attackers. So that's what you want to do, is you want to focus on your attackers for the squad boss. So I'm using Tensa Zangetsu, Dangai Ichigo, and I've got White Ichigo. That's the back line. Okay. Front line, I've got Kenpachi. I don't use Kenpachi in PvE anymore because I replaced him with Dangetsu, but we're talking about attackers. So so I've got you know, Kenpachi, and then I've actually got Full Hollow Ichigo. I'm using him in there right now. He does survive in squad boss, and he does pretty good damage with the 0 on that one target. Not as much as I'd like, but for other damage characters I got, he does the most. Then I have Anniversary Ichigo. Anniversary Ichigo does not do much in terms of damage, but he buffs the back line. He increases the damage the back line does. And as you can see, that's, you know, that's much more beneficial. So that, I mean, the most I'd got before was 104. I now have 112 as my new max. My goal was, of course, 125. So I'm almost finished bringing him up. I've got his enhancements full. And I think I've just got 1 or 2 of his equipments to finish, and they'll be all maxed out. So it was definitely something, and he has no problem with survivability because he's a tank too. He's got a tank emblem, but he's really there for a buff. Problem is he doesn't do a ton of damage by himself, but he's still a good character. So he's something that you know, I might be looking at in terms of possibly, you know, a PvP entrance too. It's difficult to say. But you know, I want to have enough to where I've got several types of options. I want to have a couple options on team comp. So bringing him up, I'm going to start putting Hozukimaru in, and I'm actually going to start working on Orihime, Christmas Orihime, in terms of healing. She's the best healer of the game. So we're going to see. I'm thinking with these 3 new additions out there, I'll have some options if I need to. If I come across an elite stage, or come across something inside the story mode where I need to make a change to my team, I can do so, and it'll be beneficial. Okay, for it to be finished, so they need to be at least 4 stars, and they need to be, you know, something that can help affect the team in terms of that. But you know, just bringing in another character, you want to bring in another character that's going to be a difference maker. Anniversary Ichigo's a support character, so he provides buff. Okay, even though he's listed as a tank, he does still buff. And Christmas Orihime, as you see on the screen here, she's the best healer in the game. So she provides support as well as healing. She doesn't do much in terms of damage, but she does have a massive amount of healing. And then I'm hoping with Hozukimaru, I'll have, if I come across an option where I need a little bit more survivability to get that 3rd star, I'm hoping to see maybe that out of him. And at the same time, I'm not going to be losing. Actually, I'll probably be, you know, it's going to be interesting seeing if I can get his damage comparable to what Full Hollow Ichigo's putting out. And then I'll have the survivability of a tank. That would be a definite advancement to the team. But we'll have to see. getting the stars, getting them up to 5 and 6 takes time. Dangai Ichigo is not really that much of an Ichigo. His damage is already the second most on my team, and he's only at 4 stars. So that's an excellent character. If you have any ideas who you want to bring up, Dangai Ichigo is definitely one that you want to go for. All right, so that's all I got. But I just wanted to let you know that event is up. He sounds like a really good character, and I hope he's not a game dynamic change in terms of making a version 3 character level. But we'll have to see. We're definitely going to put him to the test once I get him up to 4 stars, and we're going to see if he does pan out. But putting him in a group called the Destructive Force seems to indicate that he's going to do a ton of damage as well as have that survivability. So it could make him a very, very powerful character on paper. But you know how some of these things are. On paper, they sound great. Put them in there, and they don't do anything. It's just one of those, things that you have to, it's trial and error. We'll have to see. All right, so thanks a lot for watching the video. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Once you've subscribed, you'll see the bell. If they click on the bell, you'll get notified each time I drop a video. Also, remember to like and share the video, as that does help the channel immensely. This is Kenrir, still coming at you from the corner, signing out.